Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. So the topic of this video is what we call the personal a in Spanish. In Spanish we say la a personal. And it's this little word that actually doesn't mean anything. It's kind of more of a marker that your direct object is a person. That's all it is. So it doesn't translate to English. It's just a word that we have to throw in when your direct object is a person. That's pretty much it. So we're going to look at some examples and try to practice a little bit as well in this brief video. So let's start with the verb ver. This is a really good verb that lends itself to having to use the a personal. So we start with the verb ver, which means to see. So for example, if I say I see, yo veo, and I'm looking either at someone or something. Well, if it's a car, if it's a thing, I don't use the a personal. I would just say veo el carro. I see the car. Veo el carro. Okay. Now, however, there's this rule in Spanish that says if your direct object is a person, then you just have to put this little word a in front of it. And that's pretty much it. So if I want to say I see the professor, I will not say veo la profesora because the a personal is missing. So what's the answer? Veo a la profesora. Why? If you're learning Spanish and you understand the meaning, veo a la profesora, you might ask, why do we use this little a? Well, it's there because there's this rule that says if your direct object, meaning with the verb ver, if what you see is not a what but a who, then you have to throw in the a. So veo a la profesora. I see the house, not a person. ¿Cómo se dice? Veo la casa. I see Juan. Can I say veo Juan? No. You have to put in the a personal. Veo a Juan. Veo a Juan. I see Juan. I see the tree. ¿Cómo se dice? Veo el árbol. Veo el árbol. I see the tree. Veo el árbol. I see the professor. Okay, now we have a person. This one's a little tricky in the sense that a will combine with a masculine article. So can you guess? Would you say, well, what would you say? I see the professor. You would have to say veo al profesor. So the a and the el combines. You might be tempted to say veo a el profesor, but there's a little rule also that says a and el must combine, or contract. So veo al profesor. Compare with veo a la profesora. A and la do not contract, but a and el do, so we have al. Veo al profesor. Another verb that lends itself to using the a personal is the verb conocer, which means to be acquainted with or to know. So if you want to say that you know someone, well, the a personal is going to come into play. So we can start with conozco. I know. How would you say I know Pedro? Do you know Pedro? Yes, I know Pedro. In Spanish, that would be conozco a Pedro. Pedro is the direct object. It's who you know, whom you know, right? Conozco a Pedro. I know Ana. Conozco a Ana. I know the teacher, la maestra. Conozco a la maestra. I know the teacher, el maestro. Conozco al maestro. Remember contraction. Okay, well that's it. That's what the a personal is. So I hope you are prepared now to use it when you speak in Spanish. That's it for this video. Adiós, hasta luego.